Welcome back, McFly subscribers. We're starting a new series for the month of January on winter flies for trout. And the first fly of this series is a Flash Back Pheasant Tail. As you may have noticed, I will be showing you two different styles and sizes. And I tie the smaller versions of this fly a bit different than the larger ones. Now, I will discuss this fly and winter fishing conditions later in this video, as I'm sure you all want to get started tying right away. But in case you haven't seen this channel before, this is McFly Angler.
Starts now.
Okay, let's start tying. Place the hook securely in your vise. For a hook, I'm using Resin's barbless 9214 in size 12. This is a standard length nymph hook with a down eye. It also has a standard strength wire and a wide gap. We will also need some weight, and for that I have this lead wire in the smallest it comes, size .010, and I like to put that in a bobbin holder to make the application easier. Now I generally like to use lead free, but the smallest I have is .015, which is a bit too thick for this fly. Okay, let's wind on 5 to 6 turns and break it off. Then push the wraps together and position it forward slightly on the hook, maybe about a third of the way up. Now for some thread. Today I'm using Viva's 10-aught in brown. This is a fine, flat thread, which is fairly strong for how thin it is. Start your thread up by the hook eye and use the tag end to help jump over the lead wraps. Then you can snip or snap off the waist and wrap back up over it to help secure it further. Then bring your thread down into the hook bend slightly and then back up to the start of the hook bend. Alright, so this is a pheasant tail feather, where the fly gets its name from, and that's because this fly is tied almost entirely with this material. Most of these tails have a side that is a bit shorter and one that is a little longer. For this size fly, we need the longer fibers. Separate out about 6 fibers and align the tips by stroking them out perpendicular to the feather stem. Then pinch the tips to keep them aligned and rip them off the feather like so. Okay, so let's tie this in at the back of the tail with 2 wraps, and then look at the length of the tail. You can leave this tail longer, maybe a hook shank length, but I like to have them a little bit shorter. You can pull the feather stems back to shorten the tail to your desired length, but when you do, try to put your finger over the wraps as it will help keep the tail from spinning. When you're happy with the tail length, then make tight wraps over the hook shank to just shy of the lead wraps, and cut the fiber off. But keep these fibers as we will make the body with them. Now for some wire, and here I have ultra wire in small and gold. Pull off 3 to 4 turns of wire and break it off the spool. This should tie 5 to 6 of these flies. Tie this wire in so the tip is right up against the lead wraps with 3 to 4 wraps. Now for some flash. Any Flashaboo will work, but this is some super flashy stuff called Mirage, and it's in the opal color. Pull off 1 strand and clip it free from the hank, and then tie this directly on top of that hook with the tip extending to the lead wraps, and tie down to the start of the tail, and then back up 1 wrap. Now let's attach the waist piece of pheasant tail and wind your thread up to the start of the lead wraps. So these little squirrelies get left when ripping these fibers off the feather, and they keep the fibers stuck together, which is great for the tail. However, let's trim these off to make wrapping the body a little easier. Stroke the fibers up to flatten them out and keep them straight, then start wrapping them around the hook shank to form a body. And I find it's easier to hold them with your finger as you adjust your grip with each wrap. We want to try and keep these fibers straight, which stroking them out periodically can help align them. Now we really wanted to have a nice even underbase to wrap these on, and this is why we ensured that all our materials were tied in the length of the hook shank up to the lead wraps. There are no bumps, instead it has a nice even taper. Once you reach your thread, then capture the fiber and trim the waist off close. Now pull the flash up over the top of the body and capture with 2 wraps. Then let's counter wrap the wire over the flash and pheasant body. This will make the fly much more durable, as the wire will help hold down the fragile pheasant tail fibers. Try to make these wraps as even as possible, as this also adds a look of segmentation, so it's aesthetic as well as functional. Capture the wire with a wrap over it and cut off the flash. Now because it is counter wrapped, we will have to tie this in a particular way to keep it from moving. Make a wrap over the wire, but use the wire to switch directions of your wraps. Then wrap around the hook, and then around the wire once again, switching back to the direction that you usually tie in. If you hold the thread down tight, you can helicopter the wire off without it moving around. Okay, now for some more flash. This time we need 3 strands, and if you wet the tips, they will stay together. Tie this in directly on top of the hook, and adjust after a single wrap if you need. Make sure this isn't canted to one side or the other. This should be directly on top, like so. Okay, now we need more pheasant tail fibers. Stroke out about 8 to 10 fibers this time, a bit more than we use for the tail, and tie this in so the tips are extending out the front of the hook, about half the hook shank length. Now the length is important, and it might take you a few of these to get the hang of it. Now tie the fiber back to where the body ends, but flatten out these fibers a bit with your thumb as you tie back. Let's remove those swirlies on these fibers as well, and straighten out the fibers. Now we need some peacock hurl. On this size fly, I'm looking for a decent sized hurl here. Pull off the fragile tip, and there are 2 sides to peacock hurl, a longer fiber side and shorter fiber. Tie this in so the longer fiber side is pointing down or out towards you. And now start wrapping this to form an abdomen. As you can see, the longer fiber side is what is sticking out, and this will create a nice bushier abdomen. On smaller flies, you can tie in with the shorter fibers sticking out. Capture the hurl, and if you wrap back up over it, you can simply break it off rather than cutting it. Use your thumb to push the tips up and back, then wiggle your thumb to separate the tips on either side of the abdomen. Now bring the butt ends up and over and in between the split tips, and stroke the tips rearward with the butt ends up over them. Make a wrap or 2, then check them. You can use your thumbnail to flatten out the newly formed wing case and position the tips, which are now the nymph legs, where you want them. Make one more tight wrap when you're happy, and then pull the fiber back and wrap in front as well. Then cut the fibers off close. Now pull the flash up over the wing case and tie it in so it's directly on top. Pull it rearward and wrap back up over it. And then clip it off close. You can still adjust the position of the fly components at this point. But when you're happy with it, then whip finish the fly. Well, unfortunately the flash on the body and abdomen don't line up perfectly on this fly. Oh well, I mean the fish don't care, but my OCD is a bit on the fritz looking at this. Okay, now let's cement the fly, and for that I really like the Solarez Ultra Thin Resin. Paint a little on the whip finish with a handy paintbrush, and I find a little over the top of the wing case helps make this fly more durable. And there we have it, the finished Flash Back Pheasant Tail. Now this is perfectly fine to fish the way it is, but I like adding one last step. This is Solarez Thin Formula, which when adding one drop over the top of the wing case will really accentuate that flash and make it even more noticeable for trout. So fishing winter conditions, I am generally fishing nymphs and midges that have a bit of flash to them. This is important in my opinion to catch the attention of the lethargic trout. Another thing to mention is weight is important as well. You really need to get down to where the fish are in the winter, as they will not rise too often to a higher drifting nymph. And that is why we added the lead wraps to this. However, you could also add a bead, or add both to really make this sink quickly. Trout do eat in the winter, but you will have to almost drop it on their nose as they really do not want to move around too much. Now when fishing the winter, many times you have to go with really small nymphs. And that is because during that time, midges and BWOs are some of the only bugs still out and about. Tying these small can be challenging though, but I want to show you a few techniques to get these flashbacks down in size. Let's go over that now. Here is a size 18 hook. I switched to a 14-aught thread, which is a bit finer. Also, I'm going to be tying these in black to help mimic a midge. As you may have noticed, I did not add weight, and that is because it will bulk this up too much. Also, don't make a full thread base. Start your thread and then end about at the hook point mark. We need only 3 strands of black pheasant tail for the tail portion. Cut off the waist so it's about halfway up the hook shank, maybe slightly further. Now for some extra small wire, this time in silver. Tie this in so the tag end is up to about the halfway point on the hook shank, as we are building a taper here. Now for the 3 strands of waist pheasant tail fibers, and cut off the squirrelies. Now proceed to wrap this up the hook shank with touching wraps till you reach your thread, and you might ask, where's the flash? Well, for these smaller flies, I generally only add the flash to the wing case. This is actually the more traditional flashback style, but when I can easily get it along the body, I try to add it there as well, as more flash the better in my opinion. But these smaller ones is a little more difficult. Okay, capture the pheasant tail fibers, trim off the waist, then counter wrap the wire and helicopter it off. Now tie in just one strand of the flash. We don't need 3 this time for this size fly. And here I have only 6 strands of pheasant tail. And being that the tips are so fine, I actually cut the butt ends off, trim up the fiber a bit where the fiber is a little bit fatter, and then retie them in so the wing case is thick enough. Before, we looked for a larger piece of this hurl, but now with the smaller fly, we need a finer piece. You can see here that this is much finer than many of the others. And we want to tie this in so the shorter fibers are on the bottom this time. As you can see, now when we wrap this, the shorter fibers are sticking out, creating a less bushy abdomen. And pretty much the rest of the fly is the same as before. Push the tips back and separate them. Split them with the wing case. Tie in the flash. Whip finish and cement. You can see how good that flash looks on there. And for a fly this size, the full back is not needed in my opinion. Now, like I said before, fishing winter conditions, I'm generally fishing small midges and nymphs. However, I also like fishing streamers, as bigger food sources actually entice sluggish fish to move. If the calories are worth the effort, even the most stubborn trout will get out of their hole to eat an easy meal. So later in this series, I will be showing you guys some streamers I like for fishing winter. However, much of these will be smaller nymphs. And like I said, I really like flashier nymphs. Since they're not as focused on finding food, you really have to get their attention by adding a bit of flash, or dropping the fly right on their nose. So also adding weight is essential. If you're not going to fish a tungsten bead on this pheasant tail, or add a lot of lead shot to your rig, I highly recommend dropping this fly behind a heavier fly, as you can get down quickly. Okay, well here's the start to my winter fly series on the first month of 2026. Last year I ended with a series on medium streamers, which you should all check out. Like I said, streamers are also a great option for fishing trout in the winter. So if you're interested in seeing that series, I will link to it at the end of this video and in the description section below. Next week I will be continuing this winter fly series with a scud fly called the Ray Charles. So make sure you're subscribed and click that bell notification so you don't miss any future videos like this Ray Charles. By the way, I sell these fly boxes on Amazon with free shipping. They're thin enough to fit in most shirt pockets, or fit multiple even in a small chest pack, so you can organize your boxes by fly type, like this winter nymph box. These are silicone backed with pre-made slots to put your flies in. These are strong as well, holding your flies in place. I can even turn this upside down and shake the box, and all the flies stay put. Also, the silicone back is self-healing, which means you can poke it with your hooks and it won't get all beat up looking, making these boxes very durable. And I've fished with the same box for 6 years and it's still going strong. These are also waterproof with this rubber gasket here. Your flies will not get wet until you fish with them, so that means no more rusty hooks. I will link below to my Amazon storefront if you're interested in picking up these boxes. Also, don't forget to check out my sponsor, Resin Fly. They made the hooks I use today, but they also make some of the best fly rods and reels for the money I have ever used. Best off, they're offering you all a discount. So if you're in the market for a new rod or a bunch of hooks or beads, go to www.risenfly.com and type in McFly at checkout and they'll give you 15% off of your first order with them. Well, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please do me a favor and click the like button. Also, if you could share my videos with all your fishing friends, I would really appreciate it. I will see you on the next video. Now you go catch some fish.